I would have thought I had a fairly normal life growing up. Mum was at home, she'd get our lunches prepared, our uniforms prepared for school. We come home, our dinner's there, my dad comes home, his dinner's there. You know, a very typical sort of Dublin upbringing, I guess. My brother started playing rugby when he was maybe 14, I think, and tried to get me involved in it. I would have been maybe 8 at the time, and I went down to a training session and I absolutely hated it. I didn't want anything to do with the sport, and I broke down crying, and I went over to one side and I was bawling my eyes out. So after that I told my mum, I got in the car, and she'd seen I was upset. She didn't understand it, you know, why don't you want to go down? Simon loves it, your brother loves it. I definitely had an easier ride than my brothers. Well, that's what I say. Looking back at it now, they didn't have to deal with being gay, so, you know, I might say now that they had an easier upbringing. About 2 years later, I think I was about 10, I went out and I went to training, and from then on I just absolutely loved it. I knew that this is the sport I want to do, this is the sport I'm good at, and this is the sport I enjoy. I was good pals with a guy across the road. I don't know, one of the days, like, we must have been talking about girls because we were saying who do you fancy. And I had said to him, if you were a girl, who would you go out with in our class? And I remember him, he looked at me, he thought it was the strangest question. And he was like, Jesus, what do you mean? I don't know. And I said to him, well, you know, I go out with Dave. And that was it, there was nothing kind of said of it. And then it wasn't until the next day, break time came, and it felt like everybody in the yard knew about it, and I just completely denied everything down to the ground. Somehow the teacher found out and he called us outside the classroom. I just broke down crying, you know, and I just said I never said that to him, I never said that. The possibility I could be gay, I was horrified. If you did anything feminine in any way, you were gay, you were queer, you were a faggot. Faggot would have been probably the most used term. If somebody called it to me, I'd definitely have a retaliation. My first reaction is, what do I say back to him so I can get a bigger laugh and take the spotlight off me? I had this really strong macho image, but it was an image and that's all it was. Nobody would have questioned my sexuality with this image. Hey, Jesus, no, like, he'd kill you the size of him. I felt that once I was strong physically and people saw that they'd never even, first of all, they wouldn't think that I was gay, but they'd never even try and comment on it. I think I was about 18 and I got drunk out with the rugby lads again, and things just start playing on your mind when you're drunk. You become more courageous, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning and I was purposely marching outside my mum's room. I woke her up and I brought her downstairs and I told her, look, I'm never going to be married and you won't have grandkids. And I told her I was gay, and she said, you know, that doesn't bother me at all, like, you know, once you're happy. She said to me, well, you know, I think when you do eventually tell people, she said, I don't think you should tell your dad. You know, I'd be afraid he could kick you out of the house. That frightened me, you know, that I could never see the day I'd sit down and tell my dad. I found out about the Emerald Warriors, who were the gay team who played in Dublin. For me, I knew that, you know, I could do well here with these guys. And I could say to people on the pitch that, yes, I am gay, but it doesn't affect how I play rugby. I'm still the exact same rugby player. I remember when I was first down the Warriors and going out on the pitch, I was thinking, geez, I wonder what the opposition think, you know, playing all us gay lads. Do they think we're all soft? And as time went on, I go out on the pitch now and I don't even think about what the opposition think. I forget that the guys around me are all gay players. It's all about rugby. I seen it as the final step in my life was to come out, you know. I remember my dad needed help with work, so I went down and I was working with him for a while, and he left me upstairs kind of cutting out these holes in the doors, and if the hole was meant to be in the bottom of the door, I put it in the top of the door. And I told him, and he went ballistic. I just broke down crying, you know. I was 21 years of age and my father was shouting at me and I just couldn't take it. You know, he looked at me and he said, Jay, like, I'm really sorry I'm too hard on you. Jesus, I've never heard him talk like that before, ever. And my brother, he said, maybe on your way home. ask him to pull in for a pint and tell him about it. Even asking him to go out at 21 years of age, asking my dad out for a pint was a hard thing to do. Anyway, went down to the pub and we had a few pints and we talked about crap. And it was time to leave then. We got into the car. I just said, I have to do it now. It's now or never, you know. And I just asked him, I said, Dad, can you turn off the car? And he turned off the car and I said, there was something I want to tell you. I just sat there in absolute silence. I couldn't get out what I wanted to say. And, you know, he turned around to me and he said, you know, is this going to take all night? Because I have to get home. I'm up early for work in the morning, you know. Here I am about to tell the biggest secret of my life to this man, and he just wants to get home to bed because he's up early for work in the morning. So I told him, I said, look, Dad, I'm gay. And I just started ranting and raving. I said, there's nothing I can do about it. I wish I could. And he just said to me, he said, look, there's nothing you can do about it, so the only thing you can do is be as happy as you can. And that's all he said. My name is Jay O'Callaghan. I play rugby, and I'm gay.